Okay. These don't. Let's get this going. Ooh, watch out. Watch out, baby. Where's my earring though? Where's my recipe? It says 24. Ugh. There we go. Hello. Hey, you're Darren. Sorry, I'm like hyper focused. These are cute, but they're a pain in the butt. They're these little foil tiny cups, but they're so not the easiest to get out. Okay, cute. All right, so today I'm making a new recipe. We are going for, I have a pop-up. Hi, Meg. I have a pop-up I'm prepping for this Thursday where I'm going to do a pop-up of my Whisper Lounge project, and I'm going to trade people a treat for a secret. And so this is one of the treats that I'm going to have ready to trade. So today we're making brownie bites, but I want them to be like easy to hand off and be individual. So I'm using little mini cupcake, mini muffin, gold little tins. So we prepped our pan with our little tins. And now I need to, my eggs need to come up to room temperature. So let's do that first. So let's get our eggs out. Butter is melted, so that's easy. Okay, so let's get 2 eggs cracked so that they can come to room temperature. So we'll crack our eggies. So I'm going to do these over the sink. Yeah, brownie bites, right? Yum. You know, I've had them and I've made, I mean, as a child, I know I made brownies with my mother, but it's not like my go, whoa, come on, egg. Hello. Sorry, it cracked on me, but that's okay. And second egg. Let me concentrate really quick. Come on, eggy. There we go, second egg. All right, let's get these eggs, shells, tossed, hands washed. Put these over here. I know that like as a child, I made brownies with my mom, but I'm pretty sure they were like out the box, more than likely. Like 99% they were out the box. And so I'm pretty sure this is my first time like on my own as an adult making any kind of brownie, anything. And bites is very much my style, like little batch. So my pop-up that I'm working on, well, my micro bakery that I'm also working on slowly but surely on launching is called Little Batch Company. So little batches of things and things that can be little. Very me. So we're gonna make chewy, chocolatey, shiny, topped, rich brownie bites. So we need all-purpose flour and oat flour. So we're gonna, we have so many kinds of flour. I need to do like a TikTok of like, tell me you're a baker without telling me you're a baker, showing like all the different kinds of flour that I have. Today we have our King Arthur all-purpose flour, and we're also using oat flour, which is also King Arthur. So we're gonna do 50 grams, and feel free, I'll rattle off the ingredients if you want to follow along and try this at home. Feel free to let me know how it goes. And then I do promise that whenever recipes get dialed in and nailed in and I feel good enough to share them, that like A, I made them and I like them, and B, I can replicate it. Because one thing is to like pull it off once, another thing is to be able to pull it off multiple times. You got to be able to replicate your recipes. So before I share them with you, I want to make sure that I can replicate them. Sorry, like the lighting here is a little wonk today. I'm trying to, there we go. Okay, so let's get our digital scale out. And even though these can get mixed together, because sometimes, you know, you pour out a little bit more than you intend to, let's not mix them into one bowl just yet. Let's measure them out separately. So we're gonna take one of our containers. These are great for baking, for measuring out your ingredients. So we need 50 grams of our King Arthur all-purpose. So our scale is set to grams. Ooh, ooh, see, and it went over a little bit. So this is, it landed at, just toppled out of the bag at 58, 49.6, 52.2, 50.6. Let's try to get it as close as we can to 50. 50.8. 50.4. 49.6. 50.1. I'll take it. Take it. But when it's on the dot, oh my god, it's so good. Yeah. Okay. So that's our all-purpose flour. Get our eggs off of the oven that's preheating. And then, so now we are done with our all-purpose flour. Our flour. And then we need our oat flour. And we're gonna do 30 grams of oat flour, which smells so yummy. And it's so pretty. It has a nice color to it, in my opinion. I can see how oat would be like a shade of white when you like go to the paint store. I can see this being like a shade of white, but it's nice, it's pretty. We are at 31. 30 even. Oh, I take a lap. Oh, I'll take a lap. I love it when it's even. Okay, 30 even. Boom. So we have our all-purpose flour measured out, and we have our oat flour. Right? Thank you, Meg. Period. It's such a good feeling. I'll never say it's as good as SEX, and anybody that's saying that is having bad, and I'm so sorry for you, because this will never feel as good as that, but almost as good. Okay, now we need some Dutch process cocoa powder. Dutch process. I know that there's different types of cocoa powder. Let me check the one that I have, because it's the one that I have, so it's the one that I'm gonna have. So it's cocoa powder, unsweetened, for baking and drinking, 100% cacao, red Dutch process cocoa powder. So we have our Guitard Coco Rouge, aka cocoa powder, unsweetened, for baking and drinking. So we're gonna take our Guitard, I'm saying it correctly, Guitard. And we need 25 grams. So we're gonna take our little spoon and shake it out. So that's 5. Okay. 16. And we need 25. 24.7. Ooh. Ooh. Wait, 24.2. 24.4. All right. Oh, 25.2. Come on. Come on, baby. 24.8. Ugh. I hate it when it does that. 24.7. I just put more in. What are you talking about? 25.2. Okay. See? 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 Do you see how like maddening it can be? So that's why sometimes you just gotta take that point something that's close enough and just say, close enough, child. 25.2. Sold. Sold to the Coco Rouge. Okay. All right. So now we're gonna take our little spice kind of like bowlies, and we need a 1/4 teaspoon and a 1/2 teaspoon. Ow. Did not mean to hit myself. Thank you, Meg, right? You get me. You get it. You get it. You know how it is. You know how it is. Okay, so quarter teaspoon fine sea salt. Thankfully, I have my little overflow bowl, and this is more than enough to get from there. So take that. You want to take the back of a flat knife and you run it against the top of your measuring spoon. You don't just go in there, scoop, and then pour it out. You want it to be level. So we have our leveled out salt. And we're going to put that in one of our little bowls. And right now what we're doing is we're taking the time to get our mise en place. We're getting all of our ingredients measured out, con calma, ADHD friendly. I lay out my recipes ADHD friendly. And so, con calma. Okay, now we need 1/2 teaspoon of espresso powder, which is optional, but I highly recommend when you're baking with chocolate. It really does bring out, especially with cocoa, it does bring out that chocolate. Some flavors just really help enhance each other. It's the magic of cooking and baking, right? That's why it's science and magic. 1/2 teaspoon. Again, we take the back of our knife and we scrape it so that we have our even. And sometimes I like to tap it on the top. And then you know that you have your even measure. And I also like to tap it out so that you get all of it out. And so, ooh, even that. Shout out. So I'm from La Isla del Encanto, Puerto Rico. I got this in January when I was there for my birthday. It smells so good. It immediately just takes me home. So Puerto Rico, shout out Bad Bunny. Can't wait to see him at the Super Bowl. I'm trying to see if I can somehow magically score myself tickets to the Super Bowl since I live in the Bay Area. So I don't have to worry about a flight or a hotel. I just somehow have to get myself into that stadium. All right. So now we need butter, sugar. We have our eggs that are coming to room temperature, and we need vanilla. And I like to use vanilla bean paste, even when it calls for vanilla extract. And then if I want something to be extra vanilla-y, then I use extract on top of vanilla bean paste. But I really prefer vanilla bean paste over extract. Because vanilla extract, it's like jugo de vainilla, like it's like agua de vainilla. It's like a little bit of like alcohol water versus like your vanilla bean paste that like you're gonna see like the little speckles of vanilla, and you're gonna actually get that yummy vanilla in there. So let's get all that measured out. So we need butter. I need unsalted butter. So we're gonna get some of that out. And we need 115 grams of unsalted butter. So let's see how much a stick is. Oh, a stick is 115, so a stick. All right, beautiful. So let's take our butter, and it says melted and slightly cooled. So let's do that now. Let's melt our butter in the microwave slowly. so it doesn't spatter all over the place. And then while we're measuring out the sugar and the vanilla, it can slightly cool. So we're gonna take our stick of butter. I'm using Kerrygold, unsalted. I am of the school that I think, you know, it's cute to have healthy treats if you can make them at home, because you know what's in them and you're putting in your love into them. But B, you can also make them a little sweet, like I mean a little healthier, because we're gonna do some like additional add-ins to make this a little healthier. But I also believe that if you can, I know in this economy, I look out for when Kerrygold is on sale and I just try to get as much as I can, and I just keep it in my fridge and I try to go through it as little as I can, although I bake a lot. So yes, look out for the Kerrygold sales. And then I use King Arthur flour whenever I can, and it really does make a difference, in my opinion, in the quality of your bake, in the flavor of your bake. Because if we're out here eating things, we might as well enjoy the experience and have some nutritional value. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so we have our stick of butter. And I'm going to put 20 seconds. While that's doing its 20 seconds, we're going to get the rest of our ingredients out of the cupboard. So I need granulated sugar, which actually I ran out of, but thankfully I have some baker's sugar, which is just a finer granulated sugar, and that's fine. It'll be fine. And then we're doing some light brown sugar. So let me grab the light brown sugar. I'm gonna put another 20 seconds on. Actually 15 seconds. Light brown sugar. We have light brown sugar. Okay, we have light brown sugar and our vanilla. We need vanilla. And we're also going to be putting some chia into this. Some chia seeds. And some mini chocolate chips. And some regular chocolate chips. So we got those out. Let's check on our butter. It's getting there. It's about halfway melted. Now I'm gonna take a little baby fork and just kind of mush this, because I can probably, it's almost at the point that it'll melt into itself. We're gonna do 10 more seconds. And now we're gonna measure out our sugar. Make sure it's dry. So we need, for the light brown sugar, we're doing 25 grams. So actually, we're gonna go back to our spoon method. Clean our spoon, and that's 11. 26.7. 22.3. 24.9. 24.9. 25.4. Done. Sold. See how quickly it goes from 0.9 to 0.4? And it's a tiny bit. Okay. But that's sugar, and 0.4 more grams of brown sugar is not gonna hurt anybody. I'd rather have a tiny bit more sugar than not enough. That's my rule. Give me a little bit more sugar, baby. But I think you can see that. Yes, I'm more of a, although I do like me some salt, but I'm more of a sugar than salt kind of girl. Okay, we're back to our container, and now we're gonna go for our, it should be granulated sugar, but we're gonna go for baker's sugar, which is basically granulated sugar, but it's just a finer granulation. So it's just a little bit finer of a sugar. So for this we need 150 grams. So let's just pour. 102, 111, 123, we're going for 150. 150 is our target. 135, 148. Okay, let's go back to our spoon. 148.5. Now watch how quickly. 148.5. 149.3. 151. 149.7. Sometimes I like to, you gotta pull the container off the scale and let it recalibrate. 150.3, we're taking it. And so that's our baker's sugar. If you ever have a recipe that calls for castor sugar, it's this. It's baker's sugar. You can also, in theory, if you only have granulated sugar, you can just pulse it a little bit in your, like, if you have like a Ninja pulser or like a blender, you just don't want to pulse it too much because then it becomes powdered sugar. So you can make your own baker's sugar or castor sugar if you have granulated sugar, if you have a recipe that calls for castor sugar. Like, I have recipes that specifically call for castor sugar. There's a pistachio bun recipe that I make that specifically calls for castor sugar. So that's your baker's sugar. So now, putting things back in our little cupboard as we go. Now we need to measure out. We're almost done measuring out our ingredients. So now we need 1 teaspoon. Get our little measures back. 1 teaspoon of our vanilla. It says extract, but I'm gonna go for paste. Oh. Okay. And it's thick, so you want to get it all in there. Okay, so now put our vanilla bean away. And then it says 80 grams of our chips. So I think because they're minis, because they're bites, I think I want to make that ratio mostly mini chips with, like, let's maybe call it 2/3-ish of minis and then like 1/3 of regular. So if like it's 80 grams, let's call it 50 grams of mini, right? Let's call it 55 grams of mini, 25 grams of regular size, right? Keep me honest, that's it, right? Yeah, 55 and 25. So for our chips, so we're gonna go 55 of our get a Ziploc bag ready to put them in. Get 55 or as close to, again, this is one of those that if we're over a tiny bit, ain't nobody complaining. Ain't nobody kicking us out of bed, right? Okay, we're going, ooh, it smells so good. It smells like holidays, if that makes sense. Okay, 56.8. You know what? We're going to take it because we're just basically adding on top of this to get to 80. So we have 55.5. Ooh, 55.5. Cute number. So we have 55.5 of our minis. And now we have our regular Ghirardelli milk chocolate, which I love Ghirardelli chocolate. Whenever I can bake with Ghirardelli chocolate, I love it. But they don't make minis, unfortunately. So we have Nestle minis. Again, it goes back to our ingredients, right? I'll always go for a Ghirardelli chocolate if I can, or a guitar. Okay, so now we take this to 80. 81.7. Oopsie. I don't think anybody's complaining that 80 became 81.7 when it came to the chocolate. Not in my house. We're a chocolate house. All right. And so I like to put, whenever you get a bag of open baking chips, I like to just put them in a Ziploc bag to keep them as fresh as possible, as long as possible. So all of our things are back in our cabinet. We mix our little chips around. And actually, we might have to be a little intentional about our bigger chips. They might just need to be like dropped into each one. Actually, I'm curious how many I pulled. If 24 came out, then basically one goes into each one. So let's do this. Let me actually put on a glove for this part. So I don't get chocolate all in my nails. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, ooh, 14, 16, 18, oh my gosh, 20, 22, 24, and then we have 4 extra. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is just drop one into each one so that there's somewhat of an even ratio after. And we'll mix these in and we'll drop these in as like a little boop. Right? Does that make sense? I hope it does. Okay, so we have our larger chocolate chips that we're going to place them on the top once we put everything out. So don't let me forget. That's that ADD. Don't let me forget. And then we have the little ones that are going to get mixed into the batter. Okay. So now, oh, and we have one more thing. We have a tablespoon of chia seeds here. And our oven is at 350. Beautiful. Okay. And so we have our chia seeds. 1 tablespoon. Checking. Teaspoons and tablespoons look alike, but they're not the same. Okay. So now we have all of our ingredients laid out like a cute little plan. Okay, so cleaning up as we go. Ow. Okay, so now let's take a look. Blum, 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 blum. So we've preheated our oven. We've lined our mini tray with our gold muffin liners, or little cupcake tins. Excuse me. Pull out 1 medium bowl, 1 whisk, 1 spatula, and your scale. Anchor cue. It says for the ADHD. Smell the cocoa powder. It helps anchor you into baking mode. Smells so good. I wish you could smell it. Okay, so now we're going to move this out of the way. We're going to move this out of the way. We're going to bring our mixer into focus. We have our bowl. We have our mixing paddle. And figure out which size. I think the little one probably. Okay, so Well, recipe. We're gonna mix the wet base in our bowl. We're gonna combine our melted butter. That should be in our microwave back here. Great. It's almost fully melted. Get our little fork out, mash it. There we go. It's melted. There was like a last little bit in the middle, but it was warm enough that it just melted into itself. But it's also been sitting in there for a bit, so it is slightly cooled. So we have our melted butter, and now we have our sugar. So we have our baker's sugar, caster sugar. It's going to go into our bowl. Then we have our light brown sugar into the bowl. Then we pour in our melted butter. We have our butter in the bowl. Okay. And then we have our paddle attachment. We put it on. Boom, like that. Lower the neck down. Mix, mix, mix. And it says whisk for 1 minute until looks glossy. So we'll put a minute on the clock. 1 minute. And let's get and it has a little sugar stuck on the side, so we're gonna scrape that in there. Make sure that your mixer's getting everything it needs to mix. So it looks glossy. And then we're going to need our eggs and vanilla. So I had our eggs that were separated and coming to room temperature. So I'm going to put them together into one bowl with the vanilla. And this has been going for a minute. This has something in it, I don't know what that is. Okay. So we have our vanilla. I put that into the egg. Like that. Okay, got all of that yummy vanilla. I like to get all of it, every last little speckle. Okay, so now we have our 2 eggs and our vanilla. Goes into our mixture. I like to clean up a little bit as we go along as much as possible. My dishwasher is loaded with clean dishes, so those need to come out, but at least I like to rinse things off a little bit in the sink so that way that they're ready to go into the dishwasher by the time that everything goes into the oven, because then that's the final cleanup. Okay, so we lower our neck down, we mix again, and whisk until thick and smooth. So we have to keep an eye on it now. We're going to put in our espresso powder. Okay. So now, scrape down the sides. So now, sift or sprinkle in flour, cocoa, and salt. Fold gently. So let's take out our paddle. And now, let's put this away. Okay. We get this. Witchy hush. It's my dog. So we have our all-purpose flour. Honey, hush. We have our oat flour. Honey, I said hush. We have our cocoa powder. Honey, I said hush. And now we're going to take a knife and we take it. It's going to get a little loud, so I'm sorry for 1 second. Sorry in advance, unless you like the ASMR of it all. Then you might love this. And we make it snow. Smells so good. And I like to go between scraping it in like that and tapping, because your arm gets tired. But scraping actually makes it go faster. Gotta put all that gym muscle into work. And then we go back to tapping. And scraping. She vigorously scrapes. And then she softly taps. Sometimes when there's music playing, I'll tap to the beat, especially if it's Latin music. And scraping. Scraping's faster. But scraping, you look like a mad woman. Ah! Get that aggression out. Ah! Somebody made you mad. Ah! And then tapping. We're almost there, I swear. Almost there. This smells really good. So we're basically just down to the last of the cocoa powder, the flour, the all-purpose flour, the King Arthur all-purpose flour, and our King Arthur oat flour. Come on, baby. And it's a tedious step, but it's always worth it. Especially if your recipe calls for sifting your dry ingredients. There's a reason why it tells you. Oh yeah, hello. Yeah. Make my trainer proud. Shout out Millie Rock, my personal trainer. Ooh, who actually, I just recorded a podcast with her. I need to sit down and edit it. I've been too busy prepping for this pop-up. I keep forgetting to edit her podcast. You know, maybe today or tomorrow, I'll treat myself to a nice dinner. And then what I'll do is edit while I'm out. Because sometimes a change of scenery helps me break any like rut that I might be in. Okay, so we have sifted our flour, cocoa, and salt. Now we fold gently until combined. Don't overmix. So scrape the sides and fold. Scrape the sides and mix. 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 It's coming together. So you can see. Scrape the sides and mix. Scrape the sides and mix. Scrape the sides and mix. So now I still see a few little dry pockets, but because we want to fold in some ingredients. We're going to do that now so that we don't overmix. So let's mix our chia. Oh, shoot. The salt was in here. Haha. Okay, that's fine. The salt was with the chia, but at least it's here. That's fine. The salt, I'm okay that it didn't get sifted. It should have been sifted, but that's okay. Okay, so we have this now. We dump it in there. And now we do our last bit of folding and mixing. Folding, scraping and folding. Scraping and folding. And we are trying to get that chia incorporated in those little chips spread apart evenly, but we don't want to overmix. So I think we're there. So now we shake off as much as we can off of our little whisk spatula thing. I love this. It was such a great investment for my baking, and a tiny spatula. Okay, so now we are going to use a cookie scoop. I can't tell which yet. I think it's this one, but we're going to try. So let me make some space here for mess. So now we have our liners and we have our batter. You see it's very shiny. And we have our bigger chips that we're going to top on top. We want to be on top model. Okay, so we want to scoop batter into mini muffin tins about a 3/4 full. So at a glance, I think our small is our target, not our medium. Actually, this is a medium-sized cookie scoop. I have an even smaller one than this one. So we're going to go for the red, which is our medium scoop, and we're going to try it out. And we're going to take a scoop of batter, shake it off so that we know what our baseline is. Okay, are you done dripping? Okay. Now let's see, where can you see? We scoop it. You know what? I think it's the perfect scoop because these are bites anyways. So yes, this is our size. So we're gonna go take, scoop, make sure we get the excess off, and scoop. Beautiful. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Gorgeous. She's stunning. She's beautiful. She is the moment. And she smells so good. She smells like money, honey. Okay. Scoop. Excess off. Excess off. And we scoop. Beautiful. Great. Trying to not be too messy on our edges. Scoop. Get our excess off. Shake it off. Take that extra minute. I like to rush sometimes, but one of the things that baking is helping me practice is patience and slowing down and being intentional. I'm so used to going about my day like playing music or playing the TV in the background or playing a podcast. And although I guess I'm yapping away, so that's one version of it, but I'm yapping, so it means I am presente mode. Do you know what I mean? So we keep scooping our batter into our little cups, like so. One little cup at a time. Get our excess off. Scoop. Boom. Beautiful. Scoop. Excess. Excess. Scoop. Beautiful. How are we doing? What do we think? Excess. It's becoming a little bit of a like meditation. Scoop. Clean. Boom. Scoop. Excess. Get it in there. I'm being careful because I don't want to be messy. We want this to be as clean as possible. So excess, scoop, excess, scoop, scoop, excess, scoop, scoop, excess, scoop, scoop, excess, scoop, boom, scoop, scoop, scoop. How are we feeling? Scoop. Oh, it's getting a little heavy. That's how I'm feeling. But no, we're gonna tough it out because we're tough and we're strong and we believe in ourselves because we do. Boom, look at that. It's the reason why I work out in the gym, to be strong, to be strong. We gotta be strong around here. We don't quit. We don't give up. Ah. Okay. Boom. We're getting there. I can see us. We're rounding the corner. We're coming around the corner, babes. I can see it, babes. I can see the finish line, babes. Okay. Oh, it's getting heavy. The bowl is heavy. Okay. But the batter is not so heavy, so now we can hold the bowl differently. Have a different grip on it. Okay. Boom. Scoop. Get our scoop. Scoop. Boom. Scoop. Come on. Scoop. Okay. Okay. Scoop. And scoop. And then I have a tiny bit of batter left that I think what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna quickly line the bottom of a baking pan with parchment, and we're gonna scrape this on, and I'm gonna see if I can make like brownie, like crisp, like brownie brittle. Let's see. Little pan. This is unexpected. We're experimenting on the fly. We're experimenting on the fly because again, this is the first time I'm making this recipe, so we are experimenting on the fly, ladies and gents, and everybody in between. We are in experimentation land. Choo choo. Welcome aboard. We have fully entered the science lab. Okay, so now, oh wait, let's not forget our chocolate chips. I'm gonna put those there. We still gotta top the chocolate chips, but let me just do this really quick. So, because see, there's still enough in there, right? I don't wanna waste that. So I'm gonna take my bowl scraper. Again, highly recommend these. Very worth the investment. And we're gonna scrape out all this yummy goodness. Because, again, in this economy, we don't waste our product and our ingredients. Like, that is like one full-sized chunko brownie. But we're gonna spread it out and see if we can make brownie brittle. What do we think? Let me get, this is where we get our little spatula out. We're gonna get every last gram on this pan. I am scraping this bowl clean, child. We are not wasting around here. Scrape, scrape, scrape. Scrape, scrape, scrape. We're getting all of it. Okay. So we've scraped, scraped, scraped. And we scrape, scrape, scrape. Okay. So now I think we just kind of like shake this out. I want it flat as possible. I want it to be brittle, right? We want it like thin, as thin as possible. So let's try to spread it out on the parchment right now. One more. I'm trying to get it to spread. It's thick. She's thick, so she's taking her time. But we're trying to get her to move. Okay, I think this is our experiment brownie brittle. So we're gonna set her aside. And now let's go back to our original plan, our brownie bites. And we have our Ghirardelli chocolate chips that we need to put on top. Actually, okay, so now I'm going to take these. Okay. So I'm trying to put them like, you know, nice. I'm trying to put them nice. So we're putting one Ghirardelli chocolate chip, milk chocolate chip, sitting on top of each brownie bite, like a little crown, like a little hello, how you doing? Like a little hello, how you doing? How you doing? Okay, so let's see. If our brownies bites, actually bites and brittle probably will be about the same. The brittle is just probably going to be like a tiny bit less time. So if our bites bake for 15 to 18 minutes, what do we think? 10 minutes for this? Do we think 10 minutes? What do we think, chat? Drop me a one in the chat if you think 10 minutes is good. That feels good. Or maybe I check it at 8. Maybe I check it at 8 minutes and then if need be, push it to 10. That feels right. Okay, so we're getting to the last ones of our little babies. Our little babies. And actually the extra ones, we're just going to put them on our brittle. And we have a few extra ones. We're going to put them over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. Okay, great. So now these are quick bakes. So we might be able to hang out and actually see. Hubby said 10. Okay, cute. Thank you, hubby. Shout out, hubby. We're gonna follow hubby's confident suggestion because we love confident advice. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our brittle in the oven, and let's get our bites in the oven. And now let's put a timer for 10 minutes. Great, because that gives me just enough time to unload the dishwasher, show you what I baked earlier. So earlier today, I made vanilla bean pound cake. And, oh, it smells so good. And I drizzled vanilla bean glaze over it. And so now this is gonna sit in here till Thursday. And on Thursday, I'm gonna drizzle some melted vanilla over it and some freeze-dried strawberry. I'm gonna sprinkle it on top, and I'm gonna crush some pistachios and sprinkle that on top. And we're gonna slice it and offer it up as one of the treats that I'm trading for a secret or gossip. Because Thursday, I'm doing a pop-up. I'm finally bringing my Whisper Lounge idea. I have a podcast. It's called Series of Fortunate Events. And I came up with this idea of a Whisper Lounge as like a spin-off to the podcast, a place where your secrets can be safe. And I created a website where people could submit anonymous secrets, but only a few people submitted. And so I kind of put it to the side. And then I had an idea recently to make it a pop-up experience that I go out into the wild and I just set up a setup and I invite people to trade me either gossip or secret for a goodie. And so they can either get a sticker or one of my baked goods that I'm making today and tomorrow. And so that's gonna be what's happening. So this is all prep for Whisper Lounge beta pop-up. And if it's successful, then I might start picking like different parks in the Bay Area and like maybe like on a sunny day, just going and like setting it up. And just again, inviting people to share. And I got like masks. So if people want to wear masks, they can wear masks. If they want me to like put an emoji over their face, I can put an emoji over their face. If they want me to modulate their voice, I can modulate their voice. So yeah, so that's what I'm baking for right now, is that I want to trade you a treat. I want to trade you a treat for a secret or some gossip. And so yeah, that's what we're prepping for. So if you want to just hang out with me while I clear out the dishwasher, I'm going to just do that while the bites and the brittle hang out in the oven. And I'm going to try to just stay live if you want to just hang out and see what they look like. I tend to not stay live. I tend to like end the live, but I usually bake things that bake for like an hour. And this is only going to be, another 10 or 15 minutes. So we get to hang out a little bit. So let me dust. My dishwasher has been my assistant today. She's been working very hard. This is, I think, her 4th load of the day. But I've been trying to be better about, as soon as I'm done baking, not leaving the sink full of dishes, which is like a bad habit that I had after I moved out on my own. I realized this morning, after a little bit of self-reflection, that I suspect that it became a bad habit as soon as I moved out because it was my chore as a child. And as soon as I was able to choose to not do the dishes, I was like, fuck that. But now that I have a dishwasher, I have no excuse. It's just about cycling things in and out, which is doing the dishes in itself, right? It takes energy, it takes time. And for a neuro-spicy baddie like myself, aka the ADHD, sometimes we have bursts of energy, and sometimes just one thing will take you out, and you're like, that's it, I'm ready for a nap. Hello. Hi, thank you for joining. We just put some goodies in the oven, so I'm just doing a little bit of cleanup while we wait for the goodies to come out of the oven so we can see the magic happen. Because to me, baking is one of the closest things to magic that we have. Okay, so let's get our little dishes out of our dishwasher. So then, for toppings for our brownie bites, I was thinking flaky sea salt, little flaky sea salt on top. And then I have gold leaf flakes. I have gold pearl, like sugar pearls. And I have gold spray shimmer. And I have rose gold spray shimmer. So I was thinking maybe a little sprinkle of sea salt, and maybe, since they're in the gold tins, a tiny spritz of gold shimmer. Today we're making Whisper Lounge brownie bites and a tiny little experiment of potentially brownie brittle, because this is my first time making this recipe, so I didn't know how much the recipe was going to yield. It left me with a little bit extra batter, and instead of letting it go to waste, we're doing a little experiment. We laid it somewhat flat onto a parchment paper onto a pan, and we're now checking to see if it becomes brownie brittle or not. Or just one giant brownie cookie. We'll see. But while we wait for our goodies to bake, we are doing a little bit of cleaning. And I know it feels antithetical to rinse things before you put them in the dishwasher, but I live in an apartment. It's an old dishwasher. We have to help the robot. The robot is not, it's not like some, high level, up to date, most recent, top of the line, you know what I mean? Whatchamacallit, appliance. So I like to help my little robot, so I try to rinse out as much as I can, just so that when it comes into the dishwasher, it's doing its like hygienic cleanse, doing that deep clean. Do you know what I'm saying? All right, so we're gonna get all of our mixing tools into our dishwasher so that everything gets nice and clean. Put all of our little things away. So how was everybody's day today? I worked from home per usual. I didn't go to the gym this morning. I wasn't really feeling it. I do need to go tomorrow. So as soon as I'm done here, I'm gonna go get ready for bed and get up early tomorrow morning and get my workout in. And then tomorrow we're gonna be doing some more baking. Actually, tomorrow I need to edit that podcast episode. I wonder if people would hang out with me live while I edit. What do you guys think? Would you hang out with somebody while they edited a video? Like, I feel like, is that like too inside baseball? Is that too behind the scenes of YouTube? I'm curious. But yes, so I have a podcast episode that I recorded with my personal trainer. Super fun. I need to sit down and finish editing it. And post it, which is like a whole thing. You would? That's cool. Okay, maybe I'll do that. It'll be kind of like body doubling. Like the POV hang out with me while I work at my office job kind of vibe. Okay, cool. Maybe I'll do that. So maybe tomorrow's live. Okay. Thinking out loud. I still want to make one more thing for the pop-up. And so the plan for tomorrow was to make the third thing, which is lemon poppy seed mini muffins. And so that's what I was planning on going live tomorrow. Oh, sorry. That's what I was planning on going live tomorrow to do, was to bake the lemon mini muffins. But maybe first, what I can do when I have my first burst of energy is go live and I can show you guys. I don't know, maybe it would be fun for you guys to see how somebody edits a video in Adobe Pro. It's relatively somewhat